I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure, and this is Currents.
Going door to door to get the word out about a unique local high school.
There's so many things out there that we don't know about, but priesthood, maybe.
He's got advice on how to win it all, and he can't wait to share it.
Stop venting and start loving.
And some Brooklyn parishes bring the flavor of World Youth Day close to home.
It's like, it opens your eyes like, wow, this is really interesting. And you just want to keep learning more and keep on practicing your faith.
Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. There are over 7,800 Catholic schools in the whole United States, but only one, like Cathedral Prep in Elmhurst. It is the last prep seminary of its kind in the whole country, which raises the question, how do you keep an institution like that going and get young boys to think about becoming priests?
Well, last week offered one answer as a priest and some students from Cathedral Prep visited some local elementary schools to spark some interest and maybe ignite a vocation or two as well.
Family and friends are asking, where do you want to go to high school? And if you're in 8th grade, and especially if you're in 7th grade, you're saying, I don't know. Today we are in the Brooklyn schools, visiting our 7th and 8th graders in the Catholic schools, speaking about Cathedral Prep, visiting the schools and inviting them to our open house and to experience Cathedral for themselves. In order for us to choose a high school for us, we need to pray about it. We need to ask God, God, where do you want me to go?
There are children here that will hear the voice of God if they listen to their hearts. I think Cathedral gives boys another opportunity of doing that on a deeper level.
Today, I want to talk to you about a very special high school where a young man goes to try to figure out what it is that God wants him to do in life. A high school where a young man goes so that he can ask that question, God, what is your plan for me? We bring the Cathedral Prep seminarians with us so that they see some very normal, very happy, and very healthy high school students.
It's been excellent. I love Cathedral Prep. It's such a great place for me as a person, especially as to, because I felt called to the priesthood. So it's really helped me discern whether or not, God might want me for it. But I do have an application to Douglaston, so I really think that Cathedral helped me to discover that God, I think, wants me to be a priest.
Especially younger kids, when you say to think about the priesthood, they give like weird looks and like that's the last thing they would ever think about. But it really is a good option to think about. And then once you think about it, you may be surprised on how much you love the vocation and how you feel called towards it.
There's so many things out there that we don't know about, but priesthood, maybe.
I'm sure they get the point that God is a very important part of their life. And that Cathedral, given this is a small school, will give them the opportunity to be more reflective in their lives.
Some of the 8th grade boys, they kind of think, oh, they want to be priests. What's the matter with them? They're strange. They don't want to date. They don't. And I said to them, if it's right for you, it's right for you. It's not weird. It's just the right thing to do. So I'm just asking you they're not weird. When you see them, they look like any other young men coming into the building, and just listen to their message. Just be open to their message.
Other high schools, maybe they use the term, we're selling. We're not selling. We just want to have them open their hearts to what God has called them to do. And my prayer as a priest, as the recruitment director, and the prayer that we said this morning before going out is that we do not get in the way or interfere in the work of the Holy Spirit.
And we wish them the best in making those decisions. We do have more on Cathedral Prep at our website. Just visit currentsny.net.
But in the meantime, stay right here with us. We have much more Currents coming up. When we come back, we'll have the day's headlines. President Obama talking about being a Christian and defending his support for abortion rights. That and more next.
Welcome back to Currents. I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure. Coming up later, it's World Youth Day time. But no, not in Madrid, right here in Brooklyn. We'll explain.
But first, let's have a look at the day's headlines. President Obama talked about his personal religious beliefs Tuesday in a backyard discussion on the economy with residents of Albuquerque, New Mexico. One woman asked the president, quote, "Why are you a Christian?" Here's what he had to say.
I'm a Christian by choice. My family didn't, frankly, they weren't folks who went to church every week. My mother was one of the most spiritual people I knew, but she didn't raise me in the church. So I came to my Christian faith later in life, and it was because the precepts of Jesus Christ spoke to me in terms of the kind of life that I would want to lead, being my brothers and sisters' keeper. Treating others as they would treat me.
The president's faith has been a topic of political discussion for years, but came to the forefront last month when a poll showed nearly 1 in 5 Americans wrongly believed Mr. Obama is a Muslim. When questioned about abortion, the president said the practice should be safe, legal, and rare, and that he believes American families, not the government, should be making those decisions. Along those same lines, the Health and Human Services Department announced today it was awarding $27 million to programs across the country to help pregnant teens and young parents. The administration says this is a follow-up to a statement President Obama made during his controversial speech at Notre Dame last year. In his remarks, he said the government should help reduce unintended pregnancies, make adoptions more available, and care for new mothers. Meantime, a federal appeals court ruled Tuesday that the Obama administration can resume government funding of embryonic stem cell research. The decision means the government can fund the research while the court considers the appeal of an August case that stopped the flow of taxpayer money. White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs praised the ruling, saying that stem cell research is the pursuit of groundbreaking treatments. But several pro-life groups oppose the funding because they say embryonic stem cell research involves the destruction of embryos. A federal judge in California today temporarily blocked the scheduled execution of convicted murderer Albert Brown. He has been awaiting lethal injection for raping and murdering a 15-year-old girl in 1980. Brown's execution was scheduled for this week. No new date has been set. Meantime, California's Catholic bishops are calling for an end to the death penalty. The bishops said in a statement that while humans can and do commit grievous crimes, they reject the use of the death penalty in all cases, especially when society can be protected by a sentence of life without parole. The death penalty has been in the headlines recently because of high-profile cases in California and Virginia. In the Virginia case, Teresa Lewis, who was found to be borderline mentally retarded, was put to death by lethal injection for arranging the murders of her husband and stepson.
Meantime, in the UK, conservative Anglicans have formed a new group in the Church of England to oppose the ordination of women bishops. 9 Anglo-Catholic bishops started the Mission Society of St. Wilfrid and St. Hilda this week. Reports say the new society was founded as an alternative to leaving the Anglican Communion and joining with the Catholic Church. The founding bishops say they're trying to protect Anglican tradition as the Church of England moves away from some traditional teachings. Dioceses in the Church of England have until November 14th to consider draft legislation that could lead to women being ordained as bishops. Well, we already know the poverty rate is up across the country, but new numbers show which states are suffering more than others. The Census Bureau told us a couple of weeks ago that a little more than 14% of the American people lived below the poverty line in 2009. That's compared to just over 13% the previous year. Well, state-by-state numbers released this week show that most of the poorest states are in the South, while most of the richest are in the Northeast. The poverty rate in New York State rose less than 0.5% last year to 14.2%. That's just on par with the national average. Now, meantime, Catholic Charities this week drafted federal legislation aimed at ending poverty in America. Reports say the plan would focus on getting families back up on their own 2 feet instead of simply providing basic needs. And finally, as the poverty rate continues to rise, so does the need for missionaries, but not in foreign countries, but right here at home. CNN's Soledad O'Brien introduces us to one man whose mission is to rally Black Americans to serve their own communities.
I'm a Jackie Robinson of missions, you know.
Leroy Barber is a man with a calling, and he's the president of Mission Year.
We do not see through our eyes or hear through our ears.
It's a year-long ministry and volunteer program for Christian young adults in the United States.
There is a goal for people to come to know Jesus. There is probably another strong goal of things are not right in the world, and I want to be a part of making them right.
How many African Americans are involved in Mission Year's missionary work?
Generally about 5% a year or less sometimes.
So why does it matter?
I don't think it's good for a kid growing up in an urban neighborhood to only see white faces coming to serve.
This is where I'm staying right now.
22-year-old Harold Boyd left his Chicago home to spend a year in Atlanta. He lives on $12,000 that he has to raise himself.
I do believe that with every relationship that I build, that I'll be showing people that I'm in the same struggle as you are.
Again, I don't have all the answers.
He's the only minority on his team. It's not surprising when you consider the vast majority of missionaries are white.
In terms of the missionary percentage of African Americans, it's far less than 1%.
Jim Sutherland studies missionary work and the black church.
Many black churches do a fairly good job of taking care of their own local communities, but the vocation of missionary in the African American church is essentially off the radar. It's basically not there.
So why are there so few African Americans who are involved in missionary work?
I think the way missions is traditionally done is you raise support to do it, and money, how you work out taking a year off, which means not working, not earning an income, is a hard deal.
For many African Americans, it's difficult to make this enormous financial sacrifice, especially during a recession. For Harold Boyd, it's worth the sacrifice.
What really inspired me was the work of missions, of being able to see what's out there and see what people need. I don't think I could stab anybody with the gospel. Almost, you know, here, have it, you know. But I'm called to serve here, and I'm going to serve.
That report from CNN's Soledad O'Brien.
And please stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to another man who is getting people pumped up about faith.
Just ahead, he's pumped up and has a positive message. Justin Fatika pays us a visit.
If young people and adults would spend as much time that they do with the physical as they do with the spiritual, it would transform their lives.
Welcome back. Well, sometimes the people who stomp by our studio for an interview, they can be a little bit intimidated by being on television, maybe a little self-conscious, and sometimes it can take a little while to draw them out of their shells. Well, that was not the case with Justin Fatika.
No, not at all. You may remember him from his interview with Lino Rulli last year. Justin Fatika runs the youth ministry known as Hard as Nails. His technique is, well, just a bit unorthodox. He's been the subject of an HBO documentary and has just written a new book about reaching kids called Win It All.
And if anyone can win it all, he certainly can. No one is more enthusiastic or passionate about his ministry, as Natalia Ortiz discovered when Justin paid us a visit last week.
Justin Fatika, thank you so much for being with us today.
Hey, it's a pleasure. I'm excited to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your latest book. It's
Win It All. Win It All, right here. And it's an exciting book because my first book, Hard as Nails, A Mission to Awaken Youth to the Power of God's Love, was focused on, you know, the stories of the kids, the challenges they go through, and how they can get the help through the Bible and through their faith to get through it. Now, what this is, it's 8 steps to get to heaven. So it's basically, you know, the first step is recognize your importance. So you're amazing. You know, like, well, what do I have to do to be amazing? Do I have to be hot? Do I have to be this? Do I have to be that? No, you're amazing because you're baptized. That's why you're amazing.
Another one of your steps was make your mess your message.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Well, it's basically like, you know, there's 3 messes in life the book goes through. The number 1 mess is like uncontrollable circumstances. That's like, you know, death. cancer. You can't control it, but you got to deal with it. Like, how can you make that mess your message? The second mess is focused on pain that other people, how do people sin against us? How do people hurt us? And so the second kind of mess is who's affected you? Like, unfortunately, people have been raped. People have been abused. How does that mess be your message? And that's what that chapter is about. And then the last step of that chapter, make your mess your message, the last piece of that is, the third mess is the only mess we can control is our sin.
This book is actually geared towards teenagers.
Yeah, but it's for everybody.
But so why would a teenager find this book appealing? I mean, how could they relate?
The bottom line is this, is stories of young people, saints when they were young, the challenges they faced are in that book. The challenges of dealing with my own stories and me dealing with my mess, or me dealing with me recognizing my importance. And I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that young people are like, man, like, I didn't know faith could be, I don't know, this messy. Are you messy?
Yes,
I'm not.
Actually,
you are?
People here don't see it as much, but back at home, are you
wow.
messy? Yeah.
You get in trouble then.
Well, another thing in your book was love Jesus first, others second, yourself third.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has ever said that. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's the only way to get joy in life. It came from Father Larry Richards, who was the priest that helped me come to Christ. I was in his class, 17-year-old punk, all about me. And he said, Fatika, the only way to get joy in your life is to love Jesus first, others second, and yourself last. It comes from a Bible verse, John 10:10. The thief came to steal, to slaughter, and destroy. But Christ came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. That's joy. Everyone's venting. Well, if you're venting out of anger, you're like, so we gotta let it out. No, you have to discipline your heart to bring the joy. Let it out with love, and then you have peace. You have peace.
Justin, what's the biggest obstacle between teenagers and God?
The biggest obstacle between teenagers and God, the biggest obstacle for whether a teenager or an adult or anybody is themselves. Is you. You're the obstacle. I told a young atheist, I said, we were at the mall. This kid comes up to me, he goes, I know you. I go, okay, really? How do you know? I saw your HBO movie on your life. I said, oh, really? He goes, I'm an atheist. I think what you're doing, I don't get it. What are you doing all this God stuff for? I said, look, my grandmother just died, okay? I go, you're the speaker at the funeral. And you're going to tell everyone she's going to die and go in the dirt. I want you to get up on that pulpit and you tell everyone that's where she's going, right to the dirt. And you're never going to see her. You're not going to see her soul or her heart again. She's gone forever. He goes, I couldn't do that. I go, why couldn't you do that? He starts smiling. He goes, because that's me. I said, then today's the day where you make a commitment to say, God, I don't understand it, but are you there? And I promise you, if you look up to God, I'll guarantee you won't say it was a waste of time. And I'll guarantee that kid, if he spent an hour or 15 minutes with God, it wouldn't be a waste of time. But you got to, the biggest obstacle is us. We got to spend time with God. We got to get excited about it. We got to be pumped about God as much as we are about what's wrong or what we need to do with our life, career, goals, whatever. So that's the obstacle, it's ourselves.
Thank you so much, Justin. We've run out of time, unfortunately.
Oh, man, we run out of time already? Whoa.
Sorry.
You're still amazing. You're still amazing.
You're amazing.
Don't give up.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm surprised you didn't just drop and do 30 right there.
I know. He's so boring, Justin Fatika.
Yeah, he's just so tepid.
Yeah. Very shy, very reserved and laid back. No, but he does have a message that, of course, he believes in very strongly, and he, of course, goes around and shares that with others. And this book, I'm sure, will be a resource for a lot of teens out there who are looking for something in their lives.
I think what he says is, the first thing is you're amazing, to believe that you're amazing from the inside out. Mm-hmm. And that is what enables you to then do what he also suggests, which is putting God first, and then others first, and then your second, rather, and then yourself third. But that you really have to have this belief, I think, in yourself that you really do have all this power. That you become the obstacle sometimes sometimes and get in the way of your own success.
Yeah.
That he's saying, find a way to get that out of the way so you can move forward.
Well, and that joy thing, by the way, Natalia had mentioned in the interview there that she had never heard it before. I've heard that all my life. Maybe it's a Southern thing, that Jesus first, others second, yourself last. But there was actually a Sunday school class called the Joy Class, and that's the name of it when I was growing up as a kid.
Georgia.
I know. It's a Southern thing, I guess. But you can see our other stories about Justin over at our website. Just go to currentsny.net.
Stay with us. We will be right back with another look at young people in faith right here in Brooklyn. When we return, food, fun, and faith at a local World Youth Day.
When it's time to play, time to play. When it's time to pray, time to pray. But if you can do both at once, that's amazing.
Well, Justin Fatika, as you just saw, has one unique way of reaching young people, but the Pope has his own approach. It's called World Youth Day. Tens of thousands of young people from around the world are expected to converge on Madrid next summer for World Youth Day 2011. And earlier this month, Pope Benedict actually set out the theme for the event. It's planted and built up in Jesus Christ, firm in the faith.
A little bit closer to home here in Brooklyn, some young people last weekend got a small taste of their own World Youth Day, sponsored by the Bensonhurst Cluster Office of Youth Ministry. It all happened at St. Francis Cabrini Church, and we stopped by to check it out.
What we're doing here today is we're giving back to community, which is the World Youth Day. Everybody volunteer, everybody's pulling together to do the work. And as one, we're actually making it happen. When you do it with people you know, enjoy, and have fun with, it's like, it opens your eyes like, wow, this is really interesting, and you just want to keep learning more and keep on practicing your faith. Even though I don't go to Catholic school, I take all the lessons I've learned from here. No matter what, it's like an inseparable bond that you're always going to have it, no matter what happens.
Let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
For hopeful families.
The youth that are here today come from all different Catholic churches in the community. Some are not Catholic. All are welcome. I'd say a lot of them seem disenfranchised or maybe don't affiliate themselves with a church. But what I've seen over time of them being in the ministry, they start identifying themselves as a Catholic.
They're like making you think God could be everywhere, and it really made you think and put it in a way that you can understand. And they do also do games that incorporate with our faith, and it just makes you like it more and think about it.
We get kids from all ages, you know, younger, sometimes younger than I even expect, and some of them surprise me in their maturity and interest.
The word of the Lord. As soon as I came here, I appreciated and would actually like to go to be with them and do the Mass. It's respecting God and our faith. Me and my sister, we brought a lot of other girls that are our ages, so we kind of made the youth group grow. As I get older, I'm hoping to get more involved in this and help, because I'm the youngest now. A lot of them are going to be going away by the time I'm their age.
People always tell me all the time, Joe, it's time to pray, time to be serious. And there are times for that. When it's time to play. Time to play. When it's time to pray, time to pray. But if you can do both at once, that's amazing.
So to do this scavenger hunt, you have to find 20 adults that are at the Youth Day. And each of these 20 adults have a clue that's going to help you.
Do you have clues? Do you? Okay. Why don't you have clues? We figured out the answer is World Youth Day in Spain. August 2011.
We have a small group right now that are excited about going to Madrid 2011 World Youth Day, and I think that it's going to be an opportunity for them that they shouldn't miss.
I'm going to tell my parents when I want to go to Madrid that it's sort of like some of the other retreats I've been doing and things like that, and just something I want to be a part of. So can you please let me go?
We're definitely going to have to do some major fundraising to offset the cost and make it possible for as many youth to go as they want.
I think it would be really cool. I've never been on a plane and I really the farthest I think I ever went was South Carolina, so I think it'd be cool to, while I'm studying my faith, studying the world, seeing all the other things that God has created for us.
I love that sales pitch there. Mom and Dad, please let me go.
Exactly.
I want to go.
He wasn't mincing words.
I know.
He's just like, right now, take me to Spain.
Right to the point. I love it. But that's going to be an exciting time, I think, for a lot of kids. It's always a big event for World Youth Day, and they got just a little bit of a taste of it there.
No, it's and what's really nice about it, as I think the last girl said, is it's a way to combine the faith with learning about the world too. And really, they do that in community with each other. So you know, it's like camp, but traveling camp about faith in Spain. Which what could be better than that?
Yeah, I remember doing youth retreats as a teenager, but I never got to go out of the country. That's just a cool experience.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, well, that's it for tonight. Now, coming up on tomorrow's show, something uniquely New York. I'll take you to the annual Actors Blessing. It's actually a blessing of the artists at the Actors Chapel in Manhattan.
In the meantime, remember we are always online. That's at currentsny.net. And you can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter as well. And if you have a story idea, we really do want to hear from you. Please just feel free to drop us a line. Our email address is dropusaline at currentsny, rather, I should say. .net. I don't even know what it is.
Well, there it is. It's right on the screen.
There, read that. Okay. Yes, until next time, I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.
I'm like...